G'day noodle lovers on the internet, I'm Matt Pat, welcome to Serial Spiller. I'm going to be building a slide to go in my van. At the moment it's a shit show, but what I want to do is put a drawer in here that allows me to fit 3 mountain bikes super easily, where I can slide it out, get them off, put them back on there, get them in without having to lean over all the time. First thing I'm going to do is get this cleared out and start measuring up. Pull this out and I'll look at how close I can fit 2 bikes together, because I'm happy with the position of this. I just need to see to make sure that this bike here can sit nice and close so that the bar will clear that outer van skin. Decided to ditch the front wheel. I was really hoping to be able to keep that on there so that I wouldn't have to unbolt anything to take my bike and use it. Since I made that decision, I'm just trying to work out whether I want to mount the bars straight, and that'll use too much space into the van by the time I get 3 bikes in there. So I'm starting to try and twist the bars around and hopefully be able to get the bikes nice and close to this edge, but still leave me enough space over on that far side. One of the advantages of getting rid of the front wheel means that the bike is a lot shorter, so I'll actually be able to lift everything up, and in under the bike slide I'll be able to fit a drawer that's maybe that deep in under the bottom, and be able to make the most of the full height of the van. Okay, frothers, I've drafted what I want to build. I've got the top slide mounted on its runners and a support beam, and then I've got the drawer sitting in underneath with structural support either side. If I don't have bikes on there, I want to be able to put toolboxes and stuff on top, and that lip will help things not slide off. The 2 different colours are the 2 different thicknesses of plywood that I'm using. I wanted to save a little bit of weight if possible, and so I've made the more structural items out of 17mm and the less structural out of 15mm. The reason that this spacer here is different from that spacer there is I wanted to create a little gap that would let the drawer slide without touching the top bike slide. Looking at the top view, we can see the slide sits here. I've mapped out the drawer that'll sit underneath, and then I've created a cutting plan just to make sure that I can get everything that I need out of the 2 sheets of plywood. There's a dotted line that you might be able to see faintly just there. That's a standard sheet, and I've laid everything out. I thought I'd give you a quick update on where the build's up to. I've got this sliding really, really well. I've got a little 2mm gap in there, both sides, so that it's able to slide backwards and forwards without having friction on the lower drawer. I'm going to chuck the slides in here and I'll see how that's running. That'll help space all this up the way it's meant to be. Then when I'm happy with all that, I'm going to come back with a router and break all these edges so that they're nice and smooth. And finally I'm going to disassemble it and put glue in all these joints, re-screw it, and then install it in the van. Check this out, how rad is this? I'm super frothing, eh? Yew! How sick is this? I'm stoked! It's going so well.
Legends, it's time for the reveal of my slide and draw system. I'm super pumped with the outcome. I'm really looking forward to taking you through some of the design decisions and the features that I've managed to incorporate into it. I'm super pumped with how it's turned out. Check out this. How good is that? I'll take you through some of the issues that I came across and how I solved them. I ended up putting the slide on this side of the van. That meant that I was able to angle the bars this direction and I've got access to the axle. I had the issue that on this side of the van, with the bars angled this direction, this side was sitting higher and it was just clashing with the top corner of the door access here. If I rotated the other way, that would have been a pain in the ass because it would have put the axle access in behind the fork. It would have sat back this direction and it would have been more awkward to get in there and try and get an Allen key in there to loosen that and take those out. One of the things that I'm most excited about, I worked out quite quickly in testing that I wanted to be able to open this one-handed. Took quite a number of goes to work it out, but in the end I settled on this system here, and it's a real tactile joy to use. When I push it one-handed, it releases both sides and it slides really, really nicely. I've mirrored the same mechanism on the draw so that it'll also release single-handedly. Something I didn't expect when I shifted it over to the left side of the van is it now covers the access to the spare wheel. So I've had to cut a little hole down in the bottom of the drawer, and when it's positioned in just the right spot, there's access here down into where there's a little winch socket that lowers the spare wheel out of the bottom of the van. In the drawers, I've partitioned them and I cut down the center in a low channel so that if I ever want to be able to put something longer through here, I can, and it'll still fit in the length. The draw and slide are 1.8 meters long, but the runners themselves are only 1.5 meters. I did that on purpose because to save a little bit of weight, it'd make it a little bit cheaper, and it was easy to create the drawers and leave just a 300 millimeter depth here, which doesn't come out and extend out completely, but I can still easily reach into the back and see what's in the back of that drawer. I decided to paint it in fluoro colors, so regardless of the time of the day, another motorist is able to see the drawer if I've got it extended out. I added some additional tie down points so that when I go full rally spec in the van, I'm able to tie the bikes in and help stop them shaking around. In practice, these are a little bit too close to the bike to really pull it over. I'll actually tie the bikes from the saddle to the side of the van, and that'll really help secure it in there. And then all I have to do is undo that to be able to slide the bikes out. It'll work really well, it'll be super effective. I'm really, really excited by it. So I built it to be a 3-bike slide. I don't have the third bike fitted because I didn't realize that the angle of the mount needs to be set dependent on how slack the fork is. So I went to fit my road bike today and the whole thing was just tipped way over. What I'll do in a future video is solve this issue. I'll work out some way of being able to make that adjustable so that I can get all of the bikes lining up super neat, standing up super straight. It's going to be an absolutely dialed system when it's finished. So there you have it, guys. I've built my 3-bike, almost 3, my 2 and soon to be 3-bike slide and draw system. It's absolutely awesome. I'm really happy with the outcome and I can't wait to use it. Thanks for watching this episode of Serial Spiller. I'll catch you soon. Bye.